credit card.
Yeah, I mean, they got all.
They've got to give things zany names these days.
Watermelon stuff. Yeah. I've tried all that.
You like cherry,
lemonade, the green stuff.
The green, blue, and red.
Red, yeah.
Green, blue, and red.
The primary colored ones.
Green, blue, and red was good.
But global warming, that would be an excellent debate with some folks.
Mm-hmm.
That would be. I mean, just lay it out there with folks that have the stats and the information, and let them go at it.
Well, it's pretty well known. Yeah, I'll clue you in if you haven't heard. It's pretty well known that the folks that tend to be standing up against global warming, that say global warming is not a scientific reality, are similar to the scientists that were hired by the tobacco companies that told us
that's an extreme.
So many years about the
and
healthful benefits of smoking cigarettes.
People who aren't saying global warming is happening are people with serious credentials who have been studying this for years.
A lot of
the sort of guys who go out there and take polarized samples and have been studying the climate for 20 years.
Well, we're in an excellent position to have the debate you're talking about because more than maybe because Asheville is the home of NOAA.
That's it, NOAA. Yeah.
Right, and NOAA is probably the world's expert on this very subject.
But let me ask you this.
Who is this NOAA dude?
NOAA is a government agency. But let me ask you this: would you be willing to listen to their facts and not say, "Well, current administration rules what they say"? That would be my question. If we were able to get somebody from NOAA to come here and debate that issue,
I wouldn't be surprised if the current administration does in fact rule what they get to say, though.
The thing about this current administration, they all say, that he's stupid, he can't get anything done, he did 9/11, he did all that. If you put all that together, it took a lot of thinking and planning. So that's a fallacy in itself. If someone could come up with all that, he's not dumb. So I think that's an issue that Nancy Pelosi.
We're assuming.
Nobody has said at this table that
I have
Bush
heard Republicans refer to George Bush as
enough.
Dan Quayle in cowboy boots.
I know, but
There's a difference between the guy it's a difference between the guy that they put in front of the camera and the people that are behind the scenes talking to other people making things happen. And I'm not going to spend a lot of time buying into conspiracy theories either, because we just don't know about that. But in terms of how things actually play out, I don't think George W. Bush has this country's best interest at heart.
That's
and
not true.
I don't think he does.
Special best interest at heart.
I mean, even compared to somebody.
Did Bill Clinton have special interests? Whenever he did
that's not even fair. Bill Clinton, that's not even fair. There's
Bill
two
Clinton
peas
made
in
a
the same
decision, it was
pod.
based on the polls, and that was a very clear.
I'm perfectly aware of this, and I don't defend Bill Clinton at all. Bill Clinton was an opportunistic sleazebag, and I will never at any point deny that. But he was a better president than George W. Bush.
Absolutely not. Whenever 9/11 happened, I'm glad that George Bush was there.
Well, I'm glad that you're glad. I'm not glad.
Because if he hadn't, then it probably wouldn't have happened. After all, it was his buddies.
Well, we haven't.
This is the same guy. This is the same guy. Have you seen the footage of when he was told that 9/11 happened?
Absolutely.
He's reading a book.
Absolutely.
Okay. This guy didn't know what to do because there was no script.
No,
he picnics with the family that did it.
He sat there for 3 minutes because they were trying to get Air Force One squared away. They told him that whenever they briefed him while he was reading a book to those children.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he was doing. At that point, what would anybody say? Where were we at that point? Should have jumped up and just ran out and said, "I got to go"? No, they were getting some things lined up.
Well, you can defend him all you want, but I can say from my point of view, and I'm skeptical of both branches of government, that this administration has been inept and incompetent in handling everything that has come down
Brownie,
the
you're
pipe
doing a
since
heck of a
9/11.
job.
It's been incompetence in spades.
A
That's
guy
my view.
who
And
got
I'm
fired
sticking to
from
it.
running a horse show got put in charge of FEMA.
It's cronyism.
That was a bad choice.
It's just cronyism up and down the line, and it's been bad for the country, and he's for special interest. He's not for America.
Right.
Yeah.
And it was New Orleans that really started making people wake up to it.
Yes.
But once they woke up to it, it was everywhere.
But a lot of the problems down in New Orleans, that was because of the mayor did not prep that city. He was a terrible mayor, and the city elected him again. He caused a lot of the problems. The federal government was on the outside. He should have made a lot of early decisions. He failed to do that. And they re-elected him, same
Well,
as, you know, that
Being
was
from
bad.
New Orleans and living there for 10 years, I can tell you that if you don't have a car, which a lot of people in New Orleans did not because they depend upon the public transportation because it's a very good
Downtown, yes.
system,
Mm-hmm.
you cannot get out of that city.
That's the way cities
You
are. big
cannot.
cities.
It's water bound. You have about 4. Is it egress? Does that mean getting out? Egress.
Yes,
Four exits
There is.
to get out.
Causeway.
And it's the Causeway, it's I-10 East, I-10 West, and I think there's something on the West Bank that you can get out,
You can go out the West Bank,
going
yes.
out down there. So, you know, those people who are lucky enough to have people who have cars could get out. I doubt very seriously if a lot of people who had cars did not leave. They might have been late in leaving. They might have been stuck on the interstates for a long time as the masses started flowing. But if you can't get out of the city, what are you going to do?
How could the
When
federal
the
government
floods?
help on that? How could
Well,
the
the
federal
federal government can come in and bring some water when the people
Right,
are
but
you got state
standing
government
at
there,
the
couldn't even get
convention
the buses
center
out.
or at
They didn't have the drivers.
Superdome.
The drivers
And
were
bring
already
them
getting the
some
hell out of
water.
Dodge like everyone
They
else.
I mean, that was a
They
major
wouldn't let the
catastrophe.
Red Cross
it is,
in.
It is a
And do
major
you know why?
disaster.
Yeah.
It is
No
the,
one knew
it
how
is
to
the
deal with
federal
that.
government's job to come in because they have the resources whenever something happens that is too much for a city to handle. That's their job.
But they locked the city down and they let people just die.
That's right.
And locked the city down until they got the gold out.
Louisiana's National Guard's equipment was in Iraq.
And until they got the gold out. See that there was a lot of gold stored there, and
Because there's a federal bank there.
exactly,
there's
and they had
mints
to remove all of the gold because they didn't want a bunch of people getting in the way and maybe getting in the gold and stuff like that. So they just locked everything down, let people die, whatever, till they got the gold out, and then